In this video, we're going to see the rectification of errors of Standard 11 Samachir Kalvi textbook, sum number 3. So, in this sum, we have to rectify the following errors, assuming that the trial balance is yet to be prepared. So, we are going to start giving journal entries for the wrong entries and rectifying it through a journal entry. So, we have a working note to do, which is purely rough, and the journal entries alone is going to comprise the solution for the sum. First transaction, sales book undercast by rupees 400. So what has gone wrong here is the sales book is been undercasted. That is, the sales book has reflected a less balance of rupees 400, which actually has to be recorded. Sales book shows a credit balance, or a sales account shows a credit balance. When it is undercasting, we are going to rectify it by giving the same credit. Therefore, when rectifying it, I am going to give it a credit. Therefore, to sales account. So, what do I write in a journal entry when there is no other account in the opposite? So, I am going to use a suspense account to rectify the entry. So, suspense account will be debited, suspense account debtor to sales account. So, this is going to be carried forward into the journal entry. So in the actual sum, the fair copy, the journal entry, suspense account debtor to sales account. So the narration is going to be being undercast of sales is rectified, and the amount of undercasting was 400, and 400 recorded in the debit and the credit columns. The next transaction is sales return book was overcast by rupees 500. So here what went wrong was the sales return book is more, that is 500 rupees is recorded more in the sales return book, overcasted. So how it can be corrected? The sales return book shows a debit balance. So when it shows a debit balance and it is overcasted, you're going to give it an opposite effect. Therefore, the sales return book is going to be credited. So in the rectification entry, we are going to credit the sales return book. So to sales return account. And what can be written on top, that is on the debit? You can use the suspense account to write it off. So suspense account debtor. So this rectification entry is going to be written on the fair. So entry is going to be suspense account debtor to sales return account. The 500 rupees which was overcasted is now rectified by giving it an opposite effect. The narration is being overcasting of the sales return is rectified. In the next transaction, purchase book was undercasted by 600. So remember, the purchase book shows a debit balance. It is a debit balance. So what has gone wrong here? The purchase book is less. That is 600 rupees was not recorded or recorded less in the purchase book. So when it is undercasted, to correct an undercasting, you are going to give the same effect of the purchase book. So purchase book or the purchase account is going to be debited again. Therefore, when you rectify it and write it, it is going to be purchase account to the suspense account, because we do not have any other account to write it over there. To write off the rectifying entry, we are going to use the suspense account. So in the journal entry, the fair copy, we are going to write purchase account debtor to suspense account. Being undercast of purchase book has been rectified by 600 rupees. The next transaction is purchase return book was overcast by rupees 700. So what has gone wrong here? The purchase return book is overcasted, that is, it is more. So when it's overcasting, we have to give the opposite effect of the normal. So what is the normal balance of a purchase return book? Purchase return book shows a credit balance. So since it shows a credit balance normally and is overcasting, we have to give the opposite effect. So purchase return book should be debited in order to rectify the overcasting of the book. Therefore, what will be the entry? So it's going to be purchase return account debtor to suspense account. So this is going to be the rectifying entry to be written in the fair. In the fair copy, It is purchase return account debtor to suspense account in the journal entry book, being overcasting of the purchase return book as rectified for rupees 700. The next transaction is bills receivable book, which was undercast by 800. So what has gone wrong here? The bills receivable book is low. That is 800 rupees was not recorded or recorded less. Usually a bills receivable book in a trial balance shows a debit balance. So we are going to correct the undercasting by giving the same effect. Therefore, bills receivable book is going to be debited. So in the rectification, it's going to be bills receivable account debtor to the suspense account. So let's take this and write it in the fair journal. Therefore, in the journal entry, we are going to write bills receivable account debtor to suspense account 800 rupees, which was undercast, and the narration being bills receivable undercasting rectified.